All right, now this one could be a little dizzying. Mercury in Virgo, a transit we all love, is getting a little complicated this week. On August 21st, Mercury comes into an opposition with Neptune, distorting our conception of reality. And we know that Mercury in Virgo is very grounded in reality. Mercury in Virgo is a planner, helping us to plan our way out of a paper bag, helping us to plan our way out of a million paper bags, because Mercury in Virgo has a plan A, B, C, and D, and everything in between. So Mercury in Virgo, opposite Neptune, is one of those transits that reminds us that no matter how much you plan for something, no matter how much you study, there will always be a surprise curveball on the exam. There will always be a blind spot that you couldn't quite see. You could have all the backup cameras and mirrors on your vehicle, you still have a blind spot on your van. That is Mercury's opposition to Neptune. That we as human beings, no matter how much we try, no matter how prepared or how learned we are, there will always be something that we're not prepared for. Neptune is that reminder that sometimes the current is going to take us somewhere no matter what we do, no matter what tools we have, no matter how much we've practiced for this moment. That current is going to take us somewhere, and sometimes we just have no choice but to go along. Mercury's opposition to Neptune can mess with technology. I've been feeling this transit building up ever since Mercury entered Virgo. I know it sounds crazy, but I have been having technological problems ever since. So yeah, expect them to increase a little bit. It does feel a little bit like Mercury retrograde. You'll encounter people saying, hey, is it Mercury retrograde? Because my technology is misfiring. Mercury retrograde is coming, but that is not what this is. This is Mercury opposite Neptune. And what it can do is it can cause delays. Files can go missing. We can get lost. That can really be what it is that no matter how much you try to be on time, Mercury and Virgo, Neptune takes us into a labyrinth that feels impossible to get out of. Good for dreaming, great for alternate modalities of problem solving. Sometimes you have to rest. Sometimes you can't just keep firing your brain and grinding. If you ever crammed for an exam, at a certain point, your brain stops retaining information. So this could be just like burnout. You have to relax. It's like Edgar Cayce falling asleep on a book and waking up knowing everything. That's like a Mercury and Neptune thing, except maybe it's a prophetic dream. Maybe it's your subconscious speaking to you through your dream. Maybe, and this is one of my favorite Mercury Neptunes, is you get the message that you need to answer your question just from watching TV or spontaneously clicking a random podcast and you get the message that you needed. Or from a commercial of all things. That has happened to me too on this type of transit. So by doing the Neptune thing of checking out, taking a nap, watching a movie, you may get the answer you need in a song lyric or something like that. The other one here that you really want to watch for, and this may be a sign that we need to unplug, is the dizzying sense of overwhelm. Neptune is like a kaleidoscope. And remember, Mercury in Virgo has all these different plans, all these different pathways of possibility. And Neptune just mushrooms them to the point where we can't detect which is our path. There's just all these possibilities. So there can be an overwhelming, disorienting feeling to decision making at this time. The best is to pull back and trust the current and see what messages come to find you. Let the answers find you. Don't strong arm them with this transit. If your technology is misfiring and you can avoid it, maybe it's time to go sit outside. Meditate in nature if you can. So that's a little bit about this transit. We will be working with this energy for a little while, because actually, while this one will come and go, when Mercury retrogrades back very, very close to this opposition with Neptune, Mercury will be stationing direct within a degree of Neptune on October 2nd. So we will be working with this again. There will be like a week at the end of September, beginning of October, where this energy is felt in a very, very big way. So hold on, we'll revisit that when we get there, when Mercury stations direct. But in the meantime, let's see what happens here. And let's see what happens during Mercury retrograde. And then we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So for now, that was your Mercury in Virgo opposite Neptune astrology shot of the day. Bye. Thanks so much for tuning in with me today. Foundations of Astrology relaunches on September 7th. You can find out more information about this 11-week course on my website, katherineurban.com. Also, you know where to find me on all platforms at AstroKatherine.